Hey, my name is Ed Stetzer. I'm the Dean of the Talbot School of Theology. I also have the privilege of serving in a volunteer role as the Lausanne Regional Director for North America. And so I'm not speaking on behalf of Lausanne. I'm giving some of my thoughts as we head into the L4 Congress, the Lausanne Congress. And these gatherings, these congresses, are important times to sort of put down markers of what we believe. Out of each of these things come certain things like the Cape Town Manifesto. There's different things, or Cape Town Commitment, excuse me. There's different things that come out of each of these meetings, and I think there'll be one there as well. And the world's changed. The world's changed since Cape Town. We see the advance around the world of different ideologies, different isms. That we see the rise of nationalism. We see the continued march of secularism. We see we see Christians having to respond, particularly in the West, to the idea of increasing progressivism, particularly around areas of gender and sexuality. We see a growing dissatisfaction, again, maybe more in the West, with some of even secular people understanding of Christianity and more. So what will come out of this? Well, again, I'm not a part of at all the drafting of the document that will come out of Seoul. I've had some conversations with people who are, again, not part of the group that's working on that. But for many of us, we hope to hear a few key things that come out of that as well. We hope to hear an articulation of how the kingdom of God is broken into the world and how we're citizens of that kingdom and how ultimately we're to show and share the love of Jesus in the midst of a broken and hurting world. I hope we hear more from the majority world, and we recognize that Christianity continues its decline in the West. And when we gathered, we had some kind of a free meeting in New York City with leadership from around the world. And since it was in North America, they asked me to bring a greeting from North America. And what I said was probably indicative of what I think. Not probably, it is indicative of what I think. What I said at that meeting was that I hope that North America can be a voice in the chorus, where historically we've been the choir director. And I think that is something that we need our global Christian sisters and brothers to help rally us all to God's global mission. I think that's a beautiful part of that. I think also, too, that listening to global Christians right now might help us at multiple fronts. For example, it might help us to have a clearer passion for poverty. It might help us to have a clearer passion for addressing areas of brokenness in and around the world. I think it might cause us to have a clearer understanding of biblical teaching on sexuality. And you might find interesting that's actually not mentioned in prior Lausanne documents. I hope it is this time, because I think we need to articulate what we believe about these Christian issues. We hold to historic biblical views of sexuality and gender. And I think clarity is kindness. And I don't think Lausanne has been avoiding those things. I meet regular with the regional leader, the regional directors, and there's not a sense that that's not something we would avoid. But I think the assumption was that everybody knew that. Well, as parts of evangelicalism, or people who articulate themselves as evangelicals, are trying to move away from some of these issues, I think ultimately clarity is kindness, and I hope, and many of us hope and assume, that we'll have a clearer statement on issues of sexuality and gender that will be there as well. I'd like to see a clear statement on how we're going to make sure we prioritize evangelism and missions. The reality is, it's naive to not think that organizations drift away from their evangelistic passion. I'm not saying that Lausanne has done that. I'm saying that we need to put a marker in the ground here at Seoul that we're going to prioritize evangelism and missions. I'm going to talk specifically about that in a subsequent video, because John Stott and Billy Graham disagreed on how to do that. I'm going to talk about that and talk about my hope for that as well. So, and I hope we'll have a theologically robust statement that really talks about the kingdom of God and its impact, how Jesus cries mine over every inch or centimeter for our global brothers and sisters, every centimeter of human existence. And so a robust statement, I think, will help us all and will provide clarity that we need for this global movement that is the Lausanne movement. So I hope coming out of that, not everyone will be happy, but I hope that we'll be able to rally together people from all around the world. I hope that the U.S. and Canada and the U.K., who have disproportionately been a part of that conversation, and due to some, just to be transparent, due to some mistakes in the process along the way. I think we just kind of some of the approach to invitations. I will have a disproportionate number, larger than originally planned, of North Americans. Not mad about that. I'm a North American. And specifically an American and a New Yorker at that. So, but I hope we can listen to the voice of the global church in this process and have the kind of theological, biblical clarity that will rightly serve the Lausanne movement from beyond this Congress. This Congress is just a meeting, right? So from this Congress, out of this Congress, I'm looking for a clear statement. I don't even know what they're going to call it yet. Is it a manifesto? Is it a commitment? Is it a declaration? But a clear statement of who we are, where we stand on biblical issues, and how we're partnering together for God's global mission. That's my hope.